Happy Monday, you guys. Today, this is something that's come up a couple times talking to prospects and people and even clients. But they say, Kayla, I don't want my kids to see me dieting. And I can understand where they're coming from, because usually it's stemming from their childhood experiences. Like maybe their parents were always on a diet, or their mom was always on a diet and she constantly had body image issues and whatever. And so in turn, because kids absorb everything and see everything through a magnifying glass, right? And hear everything, they kind of took on those body image issues themselves, and they don't want the same thing to happen to their daughters or their sons or whatever, right? And so what I've noticed over with this is it has nothing to do with what you're doing. It has everything to do with how you act and what you say. Okay? So for instance, if you are, I'm trying to think of an example. I've talked about this before, and so if this feels like I'm on repeat, then, tell me #repeat or something. So what it comes down to is it's really how you talk about yourself, and then how you talk about what you're doing, okay? Because, they don't know what you're doing. You're just doing it. Does that make sense? And so, for instance, if, let's say, you are not eating carbs for some reason, okay? Which, let's backtrack for a second. If you don't want your kids to see you dieting, then stop dieting, okay? If you haven't figured out how to create a lifestyle change and, how to just have a healthier lifestyle and achieve the goals that you want, then you're doing it wrong. Okay? So, let's just establish that, first of all. And then, second of all, is if you are trying to eat healthy, okay, how you talk about it is everything. Because your kids should know that you need to eat healthy, okay? But they don't need to think that foods are bad either. Does that make sense? So, for instance, let's say you're eating dinner, okay? And you make dessert for your family, and you don't eat a piece of dessert because you have decided that you are not going to because it doesn't fit into your calories, or you're waiting until Friday, or who knows? Doesn't matter what the reason is, okay? And your daughter or your son says, Mom, why aren't you having a piece of cake? Instead of saying, oh, I'm on a diet, or it's not good for me to eat cake, or putting a negative connotation on the cake, instead of saying something negative about the cake, you could just say, I don't want any. I'm not in the mood right now. I'll have some tomorrow. That's it. That's all you have to say. Do you know what I mean? That's a perfect example, okay? And if you're looking in the mirror and you're calling yourself fat, stop it. Your daughter, especially, should never hear you as a mother saying stuff like that to yourself. Because she internalizes that stuff, and then all of a sudden feels like she has to worry about it. She's going to get bombarded with it her whole life anyway, okay? She just is. Right? And so, you can continually improve yourself without it becoming negative for your kids. In fact, it can be a positive thing, right? And I'm not saying that I'm mom of the year or anything, but with Stryker, if he wants to eat a treat or something, that's not very nutritious, I tell him, well, you can have that, but you have to eat something substantial first, okay? And so, certain things are substantial. He knows that, chicken is substantial, broccoli is substantial, yogurt is substantial. There's certain things that I've established in his, in his very selective 4-year-old toddler diet that are substantial and or they're nutritious, right? But for some reason, substantial was the word that came out of my mouth the first time, and it stuck with him. So he comes and asks, Mom, he goes, Mom, is this substantial? That's how he says it. And I'll say yes or no. Do you know what I mean? But there's no bad food, okay? If he wants to eat Fruit Loops, he can have Fruit Loops. I don't care. But is Fruit Loops substantial? Not really. Do you know what I mean? They're not, are they? But they're delicious. And so I'm just saying, just stop putting negative connotations with food. Stop putting negative connotations with exercise. They should want to exercise with you, right? They should understand that it's awesome to be strong and to train and all sorts of stuff, right? But you shouldn't, if you're saying, oh, I gotta go to the gym and work off that piece of cake, what is your kid gonna think? That you can't if you eat cake, you have to go exercise? No, that's not how it works. You exercise because you feel good and it makes you strong and it's good for your mental health, right? It has nothing to do with like, oh, I ate too many calories yesterday. No.
Nope.
False. Besides that, you can't outwork a bad diet, right? And so, just stop dieting, first of all, if that's a thing, okay? And then second, figure out ways to put positive spins on whatever you're doing, okay?
Yep.
Stryker, I weigh my food, right?
Yep.
Stryker thinks it's cool, and so he has to scan his food. He says, scan. I gotta scan it, Mom, I forgot, right? He has no idea what I'm doing, and I haven't even talked to him about it. But I already plan on explaining that I'm just trying to figure out how many calories are going in, but it has nothing to do with what size I am. It's because I'm trying to be healthy and strong, okay? It's not because I'm fat or because I need to lose weight. It has nothing to do with that. So, like, spin it so it's positive. Because they should in no way think that anything that you're doing is negative or a punishment or something that they should not do, right? Unless you are dieting in a silly way. And then you need to stop it. Okay? Hopefully that made sense.
Yep.
And apparently it did. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Monday. And I hope this was valuable. If it was, give me a hashtag value. And I'll catch you all later. Bye!